Bye.
Okay. Grand final day, mate. Favourite day of the year.
Yeah, it's like the only way I could describe this feeling is Christmas and a grand final all in one. You're nervous because it's your grand final and you're just wondering what could be. And you're just wondering what the outcome's going to be at the end of it all. But it's also Christmas because, you know, Christmas is just something that you look forward to. And, you know, when you combine those two things, you have Derby Day, mate.
You do punting Christmas, mate. Punting Christmas.
It is.
And I feel like I get the same feeling about Derby Day as I do when I was a kid looking forward to Christmas. Get giddy, get excited, get nervous.
Yeah, you're sort of nervous. You're wondering what presents are under the tree for you, mate.
Oh, mate.
Your roughy jagging a place.
Roughies, yeah, each ways and your best of the day. And you know what, mate? Just to top it off, a quaddie.
Oh, the fabled Derby Day quadrella. Look out.
Look out. Okay, let's get cracking on, mate, because there's a ton to get through today.
There really is.
Horses to follow. Kick us off.
First one for me is a horse that's running on the weekend, Farnan. So he had a trial in Gosford last week and he won by about 6 lengths. And he had a good jump out in Flemington last Thursday, I think, sort of giving the Flemington straight a go. So, yeah, been reading some chat about him throughout the week and, yeah, he's definitely caught my eye.
Interesting. Synthetic hoof filler on. So
Yes.
can he overcome that? Mine, I had Written Beauty, who I'm very thankful that she's actually not running in the Coolmore because that race would have got even more confusing. But yeah, hard to miss a filly that broke Nature Strip's track record. But to be fair, it wasn't a good 3. It was probably a fast 2, if not quicker. So very fast track. 3 track records were broken on the night, but I think she did that at her 3rd or 4th start. Yeah, she's a big and a good filly. Who else, mate?
Mate, I've got Portland Sky. It won race 3 at Moonee Valley on Saturday. Won it pretty comfortably, and Benny Mellum didn't really touch him. So he looks suited out further, I think. That was a 1,200 metre race. I think 1,400 or the mile looks ideal for the colt. He's progressive, so yeah, one to sort of keep an eye on for future races.
Nice one. Strange this. I've got one that did caught my eye, but I'm not actually backing it this weekend. It's running in Sydney. Creederis, again, I think I might have brought it up last time, but it was last 6 lengths off the back of him at 300, and nothing was running on down in Sydney last weekend. And yeah, came within half a length of winning. Treated horribly at the weights in the Golden Eagle.
Yeah, that's a turn off for me.
And the backup on a pretty slow track is also a query for mine. So, yeah, happy for it to go around without me this weekend, but definitely one that I'm keen to bet on in the future.
Excellent. Last one for me, Matt, is La Mexicana. So it won the last race in Moonee Valley. Yeah, look, it was sort of leading pretty comfortably, and then the number 10, can't remember what its name is, was challenging it and actually got ahead of it with about 100 to go. But then like Mexicana fought back and has a genuine will to win. So that's a horse that, when you see horses tough it out like that, you know they're a good thing. So yeah, La Mexicana is one to watch, I reckon.
Will to win goes a long way. Tagaloa has that. Very Elegant has that.
VE has that in spades.
My last one was one from the trials in Sydney. Miss Invincible. It won an 800 metre trial by 13.5 lengths.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, it absolutely spanked him. So, I don't know. I think she might be... Actually, don't know what she is, but happy to follow. Put her in your black book. See where she goes. Okay. DJ.
Yes.
Polo Recipients this week.
Oh, mate, there was heaps to choose from.
Yeah, bumper edition, I reckon. This might be our best yet.
Yeah, look, I'm going to give it to all the players who featured in grand finals. on the weekend across AFL and NRL, particularly to the winners, Richmond and the Melbourne Storm. I guess it just sort of, especially listening to the speeches post the matches and also seeing their celebrations for the next few days, I guess it just put it into perspective how tough a year it really has been for a lot of these blokes. A lot of them have been away from family, away from home for 4 or 5 months. So it's an incredible achievement to win it all at the end. So shout out to the Melbourne Storm and Richmond. I think really well done, and yeah, some of the banter in social media from the players, particularly Brandon Smith and Cam Munster from the Melbourne Storms all time. So I'm sure a lot of you punters would have seen it. Well done to all involved.
I agree. Richmond's my top tier this week. Now, I'm not the biggest fan, but you have to respect what they've done. So, back in 2010, their chairman, Brendan Gale, said that Richmond would win 3 flags by 2020. Now, Richmond I think they were second last that year, lost their first 8 games of that season. And at the end of the 2016 season, Sydney actually defeated them by 120 points.
Yeah, right.
So that is a massive turnaround in such a short amount of time. So, yeah, they've won 3 flags in 4 years. They've delivered on the promise that they would deliver to their members. So, yeah, you have to respect them.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool, mate. Middle tier.
For me, the middle tier is going to be focusing on the Polo Punt Club, actually. So as a group, we managed to pick the winners for the Manikato and the Cox Plate on the weekend just gone. Both saluted at pretty chunky odds.
Very chunky.
But specifically more of a shout out actually to Macca and Brad. So Mac picked the winner of the Manikato. Hey Doc, about 5 minutes before the race jumped. Well done, mate. And the rest of the group actually went trekking there. So going one out in a race like that with an odds-on favourite, I can respect that. And then Brad chucked in Sir Dragonet into the Cox Plate, and the rest of us went Russian Camelot. So well done to Bradley as well. 2 huge bets, and those sort of bets can be the difference between a purple polo and a clean victory on Derby Day. So you can carry that form.
Absolutely, you can. So the other thing that I noticed is that we picked about 6 winners on that card. And so we did, between us, we did pretty well. I picked the trifecta in the soft conditions in the Cox Plate. Did I have a cent on? No.
Of course you didn't.
Of course I didn't. But I actually called that race pretty well.
You did.
Grand Slam being the pacemaker for Sir Dragonet. That played out perfectly. And it was actually quite satisfying to see Grand Slam run last.
Yeah, Colding ran second last, and I said he'd run a good race. So,
and behind Humidor, who had a bleed. So that's how bad that thing has gone.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That puts up a really interesting thing later on in the card is afterthoughts as one thing. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on, and then these 3-year-olds on quick backups and Guinea's form. I don't know.
Yep.
Not too sure.
Mate. Fair enough.
Okay. My middle tier was Jamie Carr. Again, she is in outstanding form. 4 winners on the card. Getting Miami bound back in the wet conditions at $26. So that's always handy. But yeah, she's the best jockey in Victoria at the moment, I reckon. So
yeah, I'd have to agree with that, mate. I'd have to agree with that.
Okay, mate. Who's looking awful? Who's looking terrible?
Oh, look, there's one big stinker from the weekend, mate. Not sure if you'll talk about it, but the grand final commentary in the NRL with a particular focus on Gus Gould.
Okay, so we have the same bottom tier.
Yeah.
But I've got the NRL grand final as a bottom tier.
Yeah.
But you talk about Gus and I'll talk about something else.
Look, it was frustrating listening to the point where I wanted to mute the commentary of the grand final because he's so one-eyed, which makes sense because he used to be the general manager of Penrith, right? And he used to play for them. But you need to rise above that if you're commentating on a grand final, and it's not a good look for the sport because a lot of people who don't usually tune into NRL will tune in to watch the the grand final, and you could see Twitter exploding with a lot of pundits from the different sort of sporting codes saying, what is this bloke's deal? It was absolutely ridiculous, and he's exactly the same when it comes to New South Wales versus Queensland as well. And as passionate Queensland supporters, mate, that obviously does our head in. And there wasn't, and what frustrated me even more was there wasn't even a single mention of the fact that Cameron Smith, who's 37 years old, has played 430 odd games, who's potentially might have played his last game. There was no mention of it whatsoever. Could be considered the greatest player ever, and there was not a single mention of the achievement of him winning the grand final at that age as captain. It just blew my mind.
Yeah, disrespectful. The Gus does frustrate me. The one who I think is the benchmark is Peter Sterling.
Yeah.
He's outstanding. Whenever Parramatta play, he's probably more harsh on them.
Yeah, agreed.
And I feel like, and he's not the only one. You look at other sports like James Brayshaw when he was commentating for Triple M. I think he still might, but when he was chairman of North Melbourne, he just said, "No, not calling," because he's like, "I'm going to be biased."
Yeah, and of course.
Like he can commentate North Melbourne games now because he's not associated with the club anymore. But he's not biased. The other things out of the grand final for mine was the bunker. I thought they had an absolute stinker, and I just can't get over like that obstruction call.
Oh, that was clear as day.
That was clear as day, and I also had Sportsbet who paid out on Cameron Smith as the Dally M medalist. I think they paid out $1.5 million, so congrats to all the punters there.
I'm sure they raked it in on the weekend anyway. So
oh yeah, mate, they'll get plenty off us this weekend.
I did have a dishonourable mention as well to me, because there's two horses who won at Randwick on the weekend who I've plugged in the podcast multiple times. Positive Peace at $17 saluted, and Ice Bath saluted in the last at $3. Two that like I backed both of those horses pretty much every start.
Yep.
And didn't back either of them on the weekend. So it's a bottom tier performance for me.
Nah, mate, that's fine. That's fine. It's just it's a one-off, all right? Okay, here we go, punters. We're going to preview the Flemington card. What a time to be alive. So, the Carbine Club is the traditional opening race for Derby Days. So, you have ASAR, a $2.15 favourite, with Crosshaven second favourite at $4, both coming out of the Caulfield Guineas. Now, I'll get your thoughts, because I'm interested to see what direction you head in here.
Look, the ASAR and Crosshaven form is out of the Guineas. I'd say it's mixed. No doubt in my mind, obviously, they're both good horses and they should get a pretty comfortable lead here. So, look, I think they're both great chances. But I actually don't mind something here that is going to get to the back of the field. I think there's going to be a stack of early speed in this race. And I'm not sure if Crosshaven or ASAR will really like having something up there with them at the front. So, look, I've landed on number 7, So Let's Toast. So, $16 at the moment. It ran third to In Danger last start, but was wide the trip. Then I think got slightly stuck behind the leaders on the straight, and then peeled out and was really starting to build nicely. That race was 1,400. I think 1,600 looks ideal now. It just seems like the type of horse that was sort of really feeling for further. Look, it's drawn the wide barrier, but that doesn't matter because it's a back marker. Should be ridden pretty quietly. I think it can come storming home. I just didn't really like ASAR, In Danger, and Blism and Crosshaven at that price. So, look, I'm willing to have a play each way.
We're drinking from the same juice box here. We've found the same one. Gets a kilo off In Danger as well. So, I think through the line, lengths past him looks a really nice bet to kick off the card at $16.
That's just filled me with a warm feeling inside, mate.
To be honest, mate, I'm probably going to have a Brucey 2 bets here. I'm gonna have a little play on In Danger, and I'm gonna have a play on So Let's Toast. I think they're both at backable prices, and I'm actually really keen to take on the favourite here, ASAR and Crosshaven. Reason is, and this is something that you can apply throughout the card, punters, but I've done a bit of homework just over the last few weekends, and there's going to be stacks more examples of this, but horses that I've categorised as being in afterthoughts recently, we've had Trekking, who ran second in the Manikato as favourite. Hungry Heart ran 7th in the 1,000 Guineas as favourite. Thermosphere went as second favourite. It ran 8th last weekend. Ecumenical was favourite, ran second. Kingswood Dream ran third in an absolute afterthought, that mile race, as favourite. And Master of Wine in the Cox Plate, complete afterthought. They were only talking about the Caulfield Cup, ran 8th at $31. There's enough runs on the board for me. I want to see horses on Grand Final day for mine. And I just don't think ASAR, out of a red-hot run, Guineas on pace, he's had the 3 weeks between runs. He still could win, but I'm happy to take him on.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, mate. I looked at that Caulfield Guineas form, and I think that was my reasoning for it being mixed in this race, is because that was a grand final for all of these horses. And yeah, going at the 1,600 again for these 3-year-olds who have been up for a while. Yeah, happy to take on something that's a bit more lightly raced.
Beautiful. I like it. And I don't mind that So Let's Toast drawn outside in an 8-horse field.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, Flemington, the back markers have plenty of opportunity to appeal out and run a good race. So.
They sure do. Okay. First race done and dusted. Race 2 on the program is the Wakeful. And what do you know, mate? There's another favourite from the 1,000 Guineas, Personal. Now, she's my girl.
Yes.
I like her, but I'm really against her in this race too.
Are ya? Well, you give me your reasoning, mate, and then I'll have a counter argument, hopefully, because
Sure.
I like it in this.
Well, I don't really think I need to say much more, to be honest, because as a rule for the weekend and in my punting in general, I just hate afterthoughts. I just don't think they win all that often. Now, I can see that they can obviously, based on this, Trekking ran second, Ecumenical second, Kingswood Dream third. They can run good races. They can run good races, but I think as a winning proposition, they're not necessarily up there. But I can't knock anyone for backing them. Personal, I think, that all they were talking about was 1,000 Guineas for this horse. We saw Flit come down and be a $2 favourite for this race last year and got knocked over. So I'm happy to take her on. The one I'm keen on, and this is one of my better bets on the card, is number 9 Victoria Key.
Yep.
Jamie Carr in the saddle for Tony McAvoy. Tick tick. Ran second to It's No Deal Done, or whatever that thing is. That thing would have been favourite for the Victoria Derby if they went that way. In early markets, it was about $5 favourite for the Derby, and then they said, nah, we're going to save it for the spring. Had a big starting price profile last start, but it's going to get back in a race where there's a bit of speed. It's going to relish Flemington. I think it's a cracking bet.
Yeah, mate, that was my next best after Personal, so I can't talk you out of that. Look, I just think Personal was so impressive in the 1,000 Guineas that... I think I'm willing to have a shot at it here. It draws middle of the pack, so it should find a pretty comfortable position. I just couldn't take my eyes off those closing sectionals. So, look, I'm keen on it in this. $3.40, I'm not going to have a big play. I did like Victoria Key, so I might play in the Quinella or Trifecta markets in this race, punters.
Yeah, no, I think Victoria Key looks nicely placed, and I wouldn't be surprised because... the money might come for others that she could start even out at like $8 or something on the day. So fingers crossed. Okay. Race 3 is the Lithingo Stakes. 1,200 metres, Group 2, down the straight 6. So Kemal Parsa won this on the first race of the day last year. Beat Zutori, who was a short price favourite. We were at the track there, so this is why we can remember this sort of stuff. But yeah, who'd you land on here, mate?
Look, I've gone for the favourite in this one, just because I think that Shalaki Stakes form is holding up quite nicely. So that's number 9, Octane. Dirty Work was great in the Manicato, I thought, and Octane ran third in that race, the Shalaki, behind Dirty Work and Diamond Efforts. So both of those horses are travelling super. There's nothing else really that screamed out at me. I don't know about Banquo, don't know about Camel Passer in this. Again, not going to have a massive play in this race, punters, because I think there's a couple of things at bigger odds that might upset, but I think Octane will win.
Yep. He's definitely one of the winning chances for mine. 1,200 metres is the small query on him for me.
Yeah.
But I think Camel Passer can go back-to-back here. Willow on board, he can go out to the front, and I don't know, whenever he does that, jockeys usually lay off him a bit, and I don't know, his straight form is pretty good, winning this race last year against Zutori, and then he ran within a neck of Zutori this prep in the Gilgai. So I think that form stacks up here. I think this is a easier race, to be honest, and I think Camel Passer, Banquo, you never know with Rich Charm. He's got a special place in the Polo Punt Club hearts.
He sure does. He's 8 years old now, the big fella.
Yeah, he is. His last win might have been on Derby Day, to be honest. It was that long ago.
Yeah.
And Octane is the winning chance, but happy to take Camel Passer, but this is probably one of the first races where I'm not keen to have a big play.
Yeah, look, I won't have a massive play in this either, just because I think there's there's a few chances that I'm not willing to take on massively.
Cool. Okay. The Hotham. You win and you're in to the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Any strong opinion here?
No. It's a dartboard for me, this race. I think there's a couple of different form lines colliding that have just confused the hell out of me. There is a horse that's been thereabouts this prep, and I think coming to this track is certainly beneficial. That's number 10, Shabao. Look, he's had 3 starts this prep for 2/3 and a 4th. Been there and thereabouts, running with some decent horses. This is its 3rd crack at the 2,500 metre. I don't really see that as a good or a bad thing. So again, not super keen to play in this race, but I think Shabao is in there with a chance. I backed to Turney 2 starts back when it won. Look, for me, it's a bit of a chance at $14. Aside from that, man, nothing else really that's screaming out at me.
Yeah, I had a look at Hush Rider, but doesn't go a yard. Melbourne Wave going, and I saw Adrian Bob, and it won't be any soft ground, but said if it was a soft 5, they'd scratch it. So it needs it rock hard. That's what they're telling me. And Flemington usually has a little bit more give than, say, your Caulfields or your Moonee Valleys. Had a look at Sound, but then he hasn't won for 2 or 3 years. Cariff again, I'm just off him now. And I had a look at Shabao, but my default is to go to the international runners, and there's 2 with international form lines here. The top weight, Ash Run, was a bit unlucky in the Geelong Classic or the Geelong Cup or whatever that was. Geelong Cup behind Steel Prince. Steel Prince is going super this prep. But I thought the bottom weight, Admire Robson, is the most likely winner here. Got absolutely pumped. $40 into $10 last start.
Gee whiz.
Got absolutely whacked in. And it ran a pretty good race, but it just got too far back. Smaller field here should suit. Big jockey change. Brett Preble off. Now, he's been going at about 1% his last 100 runs.
Oh, jeez.
You have G-Boss on.
Bossy.
He won in these colours last weekend, mate. He's good to go.
Yeah, fair. That was one horse as well that I had a bit of an eye on too. So I think if I play in this race, I'm going to be playing in the exotics, and I think Admire Robson has to go in to your quins and your tries and your first fours if that's how you're playing.
Yeah, the other thing that made me lean towards Admire Robson over Ashrun was Ashrun has glue on his shoes for the first time. Whenever I see synthetic hoof fillers, any glue on the shoes, anything with the bar plates, anything like that, the horse isn't 100% right for mine. So happy to play around. Actually, it's off for the first time, so I've misread that. But regardless, I know Admire Robson gets 5 kilos off him, so I'm happy to play in Admire Robson's corner, but not a big betting proposition for me. Okay, the first Group 1 we're going to skip, so we're going to go all the way to the end, mate, to the Get Out Stakes. So this was known as the Furphy Sprint last year by a very good girl named Tafane, just screaming home, getting my best bet of the day home and getting us the quaddie. So who'd you land on here? This was a tough one for mine.
This is a tough one, I think, mate. But I think it's between 3 horses. I think it's between number 3, Diamond Effort, number 4, California Zimble, and number 8, Fatuse. All winning chances, in my opinion. I can't go past number 3, Diamond Effort, though. Scratched last week from the Manikato. We thought it was a good chance in that. That's genuine Group 1 form. No knocking on Fatuse and California Zimble, who are in great form, but I think Diamond Effort's got the class. It's proven at the track. It's proven at the track at the distance. I think it's one of my better bets of the day, Diamond Effort. I think it'll be ready to go.
Yeah. We're seeing this race very similarly. Yeah, I have Diamond Effort on top as well. If I doubt it will, but if it gets to a good 3, then I'm getting a bit nervous because they scratched her from the very hard track at Moonee Valley, which I was spewing about. But yeah, I think Fatuse and California Zimble are the clear dangers. The girl who's come back really nicely this prep is number 2, Fiesta. I step back from 1200 to 1100 is a bit concerning for mine. Drawn outside, which I think is actually quite good because where these jocks typically want to do, they want to follow the speed in the straight races. It's going to get on California Zimble's back, and Diamond Effort's going to be right there too. So it's actually going to get quite a nice run in the race. So I could easily see her winning. So I might be playing between Diamond Effort and Fiesta and maybe Fatuse in some exotics. But yeah, Diamond Effort on top for mine. Okay, mate, that is the undercard done and dusted, but let's get into the features right after this. Okay, mate, here we go. We're getting into the big boy stuff now, but we're starting with the girls in the Empire Rose.
I think it's my favourite race, mate.
It is. It's a cracking race. Yeah, you've had great success in this race over the years. 3-year-old fillies, interesting in this race. I think there's only been 8 or 9 fillies that have attempted it, and only 2 have won. But from a winning percentage perspective, that's actually pretty high. They were I'm a Star and your girl, Shoals.
Shoals.
So we have Odium down the bottom, $3.80 favourite, 1,000 guineas winner, 49 kegs on the back. Chica Fuerte, who should find the front, and Forbidden Love as well. So, but you also have the best horse in the race, in my opinion, the top 8, Mystic Journey. So, where are you leaning?
Oh, mate. 3-year-old fillies with nothing on the back is right up my alley. That's all I'm going to say. So I had a real good look at Odium, Chica Fuerte, and Forbidden Love. Look, Forbidden Love's drawn the car park, but I think she gets out to the front pretty comfortably. And yeah, I don't think she'll be super easy to chase down with the bottom weight. Odium draws perfectly, and 1,600 meters for me is not a massive query. I think it showed enough in the Guineas to prove that it can win the race over 1,600 meters. Shikafuerte, I don't mind, but I prefer the Sydney form. And yeah, Mystic Journey, she's the best horse in the race, I think. Her form, her profile reads super for this race. She goes well at Flemington. She loves the distance. She's drawn perfectly here, as she always bloody does. She was great at Moonee Valley when she won last start, but who was in that race?
Perfect Jewel.
Yeah.
I think the horse that she beat back to third might have been a subsequent winner as well, but I'll be able to tell you in a sec.
Yeah, so look, I think the way I'm seeing this race, I'm seeing Odium and Forbidden Love out the front, and then it's just a matter of who can chase them down. Shikafuerte as well out the front. And it's just a matter of who can chase them down. I think MJ is the only one who can. But I tell you what, Forbidden Love at $19...
Gets you excited.
It gets me really excited. I really like this filly. She's got great form heading into this race. She ran first last start, was really comfortable in that. I reckon she's got more under her belt. That was 1,400 metres. This is obviously 16. And she ran third in the Heritage Stakes behind Wild Ruler. So that's pretty good form in my books. I'm willing to play at that price, mate. Big, each way.
Bang.
Too easy.
All right.
But I think Odium and Mystic Journey are two big dangers, and I think there's a good reason why they're the favourites in this race. Don't know who my on toppy is right now. I think I'm leaning towards Odium, but I think Forbidden Love will run a good race, and I think Mystic Journey will be there or thereabouts.
Okay. Mystic Journey beat Princess Jenny, who won the Bendigo Cup yesterday.
Well, GZ go.
And she beat her by nearly 6 lengths.
Wow.
Big tick for Mystic Journey for mine is she's against her own sex. Another tick is she's out to the mile. An even bigger tick is that she's at Flemington in a race where I think there is a stack of speed. Shout the bars going forward. Odium's going to go forward. Forbidden Love, Chikafuerte is going. They're all three of them are going to use that lightweight. So I think they're all going to go forward. They're going to set a nice, decent tempo, which brings Mystic Journey into the race perfectly. So I think she's going to be the hardest to beat. But there's a horse in this field that's been completely missed. You didn't mention it. I am massively keen. She's not my on toppy, but I'm going to have a good crack at her at the price. She's already come in from $34. That's number 8, Missile Mantra.
Thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, this girl's been absolutely luckless this prep. And she gets back to Flemington, which I think is a big tick. Do you have her form there, actually? Because mine's not loading.
I do. Have a look, mate.
So, it's something that really got me interested in her. Sierra Sue, that form.
Yeah, fair
One
enough.
of the favourites in the Golden Eagle, which I think is... That reads good enough here. Blinkers back on. Going to focus her up nicely. I like the draw. She'll get some cover there, maybe too wide off the fence. She's going to be back in the field, but there's going to be a red hot speed on here. I don't know. Again, I can concede Odium with the weight. Going to be awfully hard to beat, but it's another afterthought. Like, some of them can do it. And I'm sure one of the 3 that I've potted will win. I have no doubt in that, but I'm happy to take them on. If I get one of them right outside the 2 out of 3, I'm happy to gamble.
Yeah. Look, I think the 1,000 Guineas form heading into this race has proven before with Scholes winning. Scholes ran second in the 1,000 Guineas and had 50 kegs on her back. And it was just too good for them.
I think Ioma Star did the same thing.
Yeah. So, Look... I think the 3-year-olds are a great shout in this race. I'll be playing in the exotics. Missile Mantra, mate, it's not a bad shout. But yeah, Mystic Journey, Odium, and Forbidden Love for me. I think one of those will win.
You know who's going to be stoked with that tip? Macca. He loves that girl.
He does.
He loves it.
He does.
So, yeah, go the Missile. Okay. First leg of the quaddie, mate. Gee whiz. Rubik's Cube. I was texting you last night. I have 8 winning chances in this race.
Yeah, I have about 6 I think can win.
So my 8 are Farnan, Wild Ruler, Glenfiddich, Doubtland. I think I'm potting Anders. Spots that Montessera September run.
Yeah, look, I've got Farnan, Wild Ruler, Glenfiddich, Doubtland. What's that in September run? Was that 6? I don't know. I think Holyfield's not a bad shout either at 35s.
1400 for mine. And Dross, I think he's better suited 1400 to a mile. Same with Flying Award.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
So, how'd you see this race unfolding, mate?
Yeah, look. Always tough to pick a winner in the Coolmore. I think Farnan will get out to a pretty comfortable lead. As I said earlier in the pod, he trialled really well last week. Had a really good jump out at Flemington last week as well. Look, all the chat from the trainers, Waterhouse and Bott, is positive. Obviously, you mentioned that he's got some hoof filler in there at the moment, but I'm hoping that the cream rises to the top with Farnan. I think he might be a bit too good for some of these. That Sydney form sort of coming down. I think the Sydney form will stack up. I think the big danger is Wild Ruler. Wild Ruler showed last start that he's a good colt, winning pretty comfortably in the Roman Console. That form usually stacks up pretty nicely in this race. So he's a good shout. And then you've got September Run, who she's been running some insane sectionals.
Done nothing wrong.
On the straight. Nothing wrong at all. Look, this is a bit of a tougher task for her. It is. And I think maybe the 1,200 metres with this sort of pace might be just a little bit too much for her to overcome. But I would not be surprised if she wins this race. And then you can't knock the form of Swatsat either. So, and then Doubtland. I thought Doubtland, if it gets a bit wet, would be one cracking bet at 19s.
Yes, and he beat Ranting comfortably when they met each other down the straight, and you're getting $16 for Ranting and $18 for Doubtland. That's just
doesn't make any sense.
Completely wrong.
Doesn't make any sense.
So I agree, but he needs for mine. I think it's starting to put your pieces of the puzzle together. I think he needs a wet track on a good track. Wild Ruler just absolutely blew him away, and Wild Ruler is my on top selection here. I like the wider draw. I think that typically the grandstand side is where they like to be. So I think, he's going to get a nice run here. I think he can actually take a bit of a sit behind Farnan. I think Farnan knows no other way. He'll be going forward. And it'll be interesting actually, because you have Anders drawing on the inside, and then you have Farnan on the outside. So they're the clear speed in the race. Glenfiddich can go forward too. Oh God, it's a real tough one, mate.
Yeah. Oh look, if anyone jags it, I'll be stoked for the quaddie.
Oh my God.
We'll be going wide. I'll be playing in the exotics massively in this. I just think Farnan, if he's back to somewhere near his best, I think he'll be too good for these. But $6, I think that's a pretty fair price to find out.
Yeah.
If he got pumped into the 3s or 4s, don't know.
Yep. Before we give our tips, mate, I got a bit hasty off the top. I forgot to give you my stats for the race. Only 4 fillies have won it since 1979. One of them being Sunlight. So you need a really, really classy filly to get it over the line. 6 Golden Slipper winners have gone on to win since 1979. So that's kind of a tick for Farnan. And New South Wales horses have won 7 of the last 12. So they're there or thereabouts. Give us your trifecta, mate.
Mate, I've got Farnan winning. I've got Wild Ruler running second. And then I've got September Run storming home for third.
Yep. I've got Wild Ruler on top. Got September Run in for second. And at a bit of a price, I might chuck in Montessera. I think she's well over the odds, I reckon. So I'm going to put those 3. The other thing for Farnan, which is a big tick for mine, the jockey change. Who's been riding him his whole career? Bowman.
Yeah.
Jumps off, boss on. So, and Bowman's jumped onto a 100-to-1 shot, which is confusing. So, I found that very interesting as well. Bossy loves a grand final ride. Okay, mate, here we go. One of the main events. What the day is actually named after.
Yeah.
The Victoria Derby. So, let's have a look here. I think it's Australia's oldest race. 1855 it was first run. So, and your key lead-up runs are your Caulfield Classic, which Alvarado hit the shot, Let's Crack a Deal, Redwood Shadow came through. Your Geelong Classic, to be honest, scratched that form, punters. I reckon you can risk everything from there. And the Moonee Valley Vars, so you had Cherry Tortoni and Johnny Get Angry, and then you also were going to have Young Werther, but they decided to scratch. Only 2 favourites have won in the last decade. And Bowman and Oliver have ridden 6 of the last 10 winners. So, yeah, give them a lot of respect. I think we've always thought this, Bowman is he's a good jockey over, I'd say, a mile. A mile and further, he's a great jockey. He just gets he has too little time to think, I reckon, in sprint races. Anyway. And 9 of the last 20 winners have been from barriers 1 to 5, which I found interesting. So, all of that considered, mate, how do you see the Derby unfolding?
Yeah, look, mate, it was a very tough race to dissect. It's not a heap of speed in this.
There's no speed in this.
So I think Lex Crackadeel will get out to the front, which is good for him because he's had a bit of trouble getting out. And he's been boxed in his last few starts, and he's looks like he's just about to explode and just hasn't had the opportunity to. So I think him from barrier 3 getting out to an early lead is very beneficial.
I think what's going to really benefit him is that inside draw, and what he was doing I think it was his last run, he was just laying in. He's going to have that post, the rail right next to him the entire time. One thing that he did really nicely, he put the head on the chest. He went to sleep. So I reckon they're going to be crawling out in front with him. So
yeah, so agreed. And I think it's just a matter of who can chase him down. And I think there's 2 horses that can chase him down. I think there's the 2 favourites. Number 5, Young Werther, and number 1, Cherry Tortoni. Look, Cherry Tortoni was awesome last start in the Vars. Was one of the few horses who actually made up ground on the soft Moonee Valley track last start. I was listening to the commentary on Channel 7, and Huey Bowman was saying that because they actually had the jockey's footage on Cherry Tortoni, and Huey Bowman said the horse wasn't even concentrating from what he could read from its sort of body language. So that says to me that there's a bit more room for improvement in Cherry Tortoni. Query is the white barrier. Look, he's going to have to do a stack of work to get into a good position. But like you said, there's not a lot of early pace, so he might go forward and find a spot just behind the lead. But I think Young Werther will as well. And Young Werther, I think, has got the X factor in this race. Absolutely no knock on Cherry Tortoni. I was a little bit sort of hesitant because he was scratched last start from the Vars. And he's third up here. And, geez, that'd be a special effort from the O'Brien camp to get him to win this. But they seem that confident in this thing. They reckon he's rock hard and ready to go.
I sent you a text saying that they said that this thing is more fit than Vow and Declare and Russian Camelot.
Which is amazing.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So, look, if they're talking it up, I think it showed enough turn of foot last start with not a lot of luck and a bit of a horrid ride that he can win this. Draws perfectly. Should sit just behind Let's Crack a Deal. He might even go forward and see if he can dictate the pace a bit. So, look, I'm tossing up between Let's Crack a Deal, Young Werther, and Cherry Tortoni for the win. I'll make my decision by the jump, obviously. But yeah, there's something about Let's Crack a Deal. I think he's going to run a nice race here.
It's got the right stable.
Yeah, exactly
Mara
right.
Eustace, mate, out to this distance, they're specialists.
Exactly right. So I think he's a real chance, and $10 I'm willing to find out. But yeah, can't knock Young Werther and Cherry Tortoni.
Nice, mate. So I definitely have Lex Crack a Deal as a winning chance. And punters, I hope you listened last week because Cherry Tortoni before that race last week was $17. I said that. He won. And look at his price now. He's second favourite, $4. So I have a ticket for him at 17s now. So I'm happy about that. But I don't know. To my eye, I wasn't impressed by that win. But he did beat Quay, who's pretty smart. And same trainer of that galloper is Matty Cumani, and his number 6 here hit the shot. He said that this thing is his most exciting horse in his stable, more exciting than Quay. And he was asked why he didn't put Quay into the Derby. He said he's not ready. This thing's ready. It's my on top selection. Hit the shot. I think it was my horse to follow last week. He looks like he is screaming out for the distance, which you can't say for a lot of these. Johnny Get Angry is.
Yeah. I was going to give Johnny Get Angry a shout out. I think we've spoken about him in nearly every podcast we've had.
But I think he's just too slow. I think he'll definitely get it. Like, of all of the, how many runners? 14 runners. He's the one you can guarantee will run the distance.
Oh, yeah.
But I think he's just going to run it too slowly. So I think, hit the shot's the one for mine, to get Matty Cumani his first Group 1 in Australia. I can't knock his prep at all. He's improved with every single run. This distance looks absolutely perfect. I think he'll get, hopefully, 2 off the fence with some cover. Give him the last shot. He has a great turn of foot. So I think he'll be right in the mix.
It can be a brutal race, this, for the 3-year-olds, 2,500. Was it Warning who won last year?
Yep.
Yeah, from memory, that was a harsh race. It was just a brutal pace from the outset. So, look, this race could throw up some surprising results. I won't be playing massively, but again, if we get through this leg of the quaddie, we're giving each other a pat on the back.
Absolutely. All right, trifecta, mate.
Yeah, so my trifecta at this stage, obviously the 3 horses that I shouted out. I'm gonna have Young Werther on top. I'm gonna have Let's Crack a Deal running second, and then Cherry with the third.
Yep. So I've hit the shot on top. I have Let's Crack a Deal running second, and I've chucked in Alvarado for third. I think his last run was really impressive. 3 wide the trip from the back of the field, no cover. And he's still fought on to win. He's always doing his best work really late in his races, so I think he'll relish the distance. I'm just a bit against Cherry. Look, I'd like it if he won, for my sake. But and Young Werther, he's got the most X factor, but I just can't back something third up at this distance as a 3-year-old. I know they've done it with Russian Camelot and King of Leogrance, but this is an unproven horse at this stage.
It is. So that's why I'm not super keen. I'm keen on him, but not super keen to have him on top at this stage. So I've got him there, but may change to Let's Cracker.
Fair enough, mate. Okay, the Cantala. So, mate, this is a cracker. This is a great race. So, 1881. There's been 10 name changes for this race.
Jeez.
Heaps. Anyway, your key lead-ups, so your Maccabi Diva Stakes, your Sir Rupert Clark, so you have Reykjavik coming out of that and others. Your Turak, which is Mr. Quickie, Buffalo River, and your Moonga, so Wild Planet and 50 Stars. So, only one horse has done the Cantala Turak double since 1983. That was Fierce Impact last year. So
he's a good boy.
He is a great boy. Last horse to carry 59 kilos was Testarossa in the year 2000. So the top weights mixed their form a bit. Previous winners, Farlap 3 times. Lee Romain, Best of Days, Shillelagh, and last year Fierce Impact. So how do you see this one unfolding, mate?
Yeah, mate, there is a bit of speed in this. Buffalo River will go forward. Got no doubt in my mind about that. Pretty light at the weights here. What's he weighing?
53 kegs.
53 kegs. So Look, it's a matter of who can chase him down. He proved last start that he can run out a good, strong mile. Mr. Quickie was obviously fast finishing there and got over the top of him. Meets him a lot better at the weights here. Mr. Quickie's carrying 58 and Buffalo's got 53.
Mr. Quickie actually meets him 1 kilo better at the weights.
Does he actually?
So Mr. Quickie was 59 in the 2-rack.
Drops a keg.
And Buffalo meets him at the same, which I found really bizarre. So I thought Quickie would be the top weight for sure. Anyway, carry on.
Anyways, look, I think he'll lead. I think Wild Planet will get a sit just behind. Wild Planet's dual accepted as well, I'm pretty sure. I think it's... Yeah, in the SSX stakes as well in Sydney. I'm not sure which one it's going to. Be very surprised if they take it back from Melbourne up to Sydney. But
he has good wet track form, so they might take him up there, down there.
Yeah,
up there, wherever.
So look, I think Wild Planet might run a good race, but there's one horse who I think this is his grand final. You've mentioned him on the potty a few times, and I think this race is very suited. Look, likes the distance, track, 50% strike rate for the win. Good or soft, doesn't matter.
He's just an honest boy.
He's just an honest boy. And I think he'll run a good race here. I don't think the barrier is an issue. That's number 1, 50 stars.
Bang.
$12, more than happy to find out. He ran super in this race last year, only just missed out to Fierce Impact. I think the mile is cherry ripe for him right now. I think his prep's been perfect for this. So I've got 50 stars on top, mate.
So do I. Barrier. I thought the barrier might scare me off first looking at the race, but it hasn't because I looked through his form. He won the Australia Cup drawing the car park too. So
there's a few emergencies inside of him as well. So he'll actually jump from 12 or something.
Yeah. So
probably.
I think that's fine. The other runners who I was considering putting on top was my on-top selection from last year. Different race this year, but that is number 9, Rock. I wish I knew before the race last year that he doesn't go a yard on heavy tracks because that's all the Hawks team have been saying. He was close to the run of the race in the Epsom. He was about 10 wide coming down the outside and still only missed by 2 lengths. Perfect in at the weights here. Drawn inside, so if he can take a sit in the middle of the field and if the breaks come, I think he's definitely a winning chance. So I think, happy to play around 50 stars and Rock. And there is an emergency here that I'm going to have a play at if it gets a run. That's the first emergency, Reykjavik. So key to this horse is not carrying weight. Can't do it. Gets in at 53 kilos here, which is perfect. Flemington, big tick. Out to the mile, big tick. So I think he's one that if he gets into the field, I'm definitely going to have a play at the 50 to 1. But if he doesn't, I'm also going to be happy because he probably won't be going in our quaddie either way. So, alrighty, mate. What's your trifecta here?
Man, I've got 50 stars on top. I think Mr. Quickie will run a good race. There's no reason why he won't. I've got him second, and then I think Buffalo River will hold on for a third.
Yep. I've got 50 stars on top. Rock running second. I'll have Reykjavik or Mr. Quickie. So if Reykjavik gets a run, happy to have him at third, but Mr. Quickie, I think, he's done nothing wrong. Okay, mate, let's take a quick break, but after this, we'll get cracking into the Golden Eagle. So the form is done and dusted, mate, at Flemington. Now we have to do the big race, the Big Eagle, the Golden Eagle, so in Sydney. So first thing is that I basically just went through the field and tried to see what can handle the track because it's going to be a heavy 30.
That's the first thing I did as well, man.
It's going to be bloody tough down there. So you need to find things that have their flippers on, their goggles on, and can get through the going. So how'd you land?
Well, mate, based on that, there's 4 horses that I sort of narrowed it down to. Swimmers, or genuine Kendrick Lamar swimming pool that we're diving into. Look, I think number 11 Flit, I think number 12 Funstar, number 13 Colette, and number 5 Riadini are all in with a chance here. Riadini, there's no heavy form, in its form. But it's 2 from 2 on a soft and 2 from 2 on wet. So that suggests that it doesn't mind having a bit of soft ground underfoot. The Epsom race it ran, I thought was great. Ran third behind Probabile and Funstar. So I've got absolutely, no idea why it's paying 19s in this. I think it's overs, and I think it'll run a good race from that barrier. But then you've got Flit, Funstar, and Colette, 3 mares who all have cracking heavy form. Flit was great, beating Alligator Bloodhome in the Silver Eagle. She's just so inconsistent. Distance is a tick, heavy track's a tick. It's just whether she actually turns up. Draws wide as well. Funstar, no knock on this mare at all. Second to Probabile in the Epsom. Heavy track, no issues. Distance, tick. Draws the absolute car park. So Tommy Berry came out during the week before the barriers were drawn saying he was praying for a good barrier because he doesn't want to have to do too much work early. Gets barrier 22. Look, I don't think that's an enormous issue. I just hope that he rides her quieter because I think there's a stack of speed in this and she'll be able to work through her gears. And then Colette. Colette, interestingly, actually during the week, so Darren Beedman, champion jockey, obviously retired now. He works for Godolphin. And he represented Godolphin at the barrier draw for the Golden Eagle. And they asked him, of the 3 Godolphin horses, so Criteria's Flit and Colette, which one would he want to be on? He's like, I'd be all over Colette. All over her, especially if it's a heavy track. Distance is the query, but I reckon she'll run a decent race. So that's how I see it. I've got 4 horses that I think can win. I think Funstar's the class, but I think Riadini's a great shout at that price, $19. I think that should come in.
Yeah, no, you've made a good case. I'm keen on Colette here. Yeah, her heavy form speaks for itself. Now it was out from 2,000 to 2,400, but I think she just absolutely plows through it. Her prep's been pretty underrated. She was at 1,400, 1,600 twice in races where they probably weren't just suited for her. And she gets the cut out of the ground again here, so I think that's all ticks. Her best run was in the Epsom, only 2 lengths off it, and she was screamed through the line late. Like half this field is not going to get through it. 3/4 of the field aren't going to get through it. She will. So I'm happy to be on side with her. Funstar does give me interest because by this time of the day, and we saw this in the winter when Classic Legend won, they went right down the outside. They could do the exact same thing here, trying to find a better ground. So I don't think wide barrier draws are a hindrance at all. The final horse that I think is a stupid price in this race is number 2, Brandenburg. What's this guy done wrong? He's back to his own age here. Like, back to his own age, has some form on cut out of the ground, tracks, always runs an honest race. I think, he's well over the odds at $41. So I think I'll be playing around. I think Colette's my main bet in the race.
Yep.
Have something small on Brandenburg and keen to play him, Funstar, and Colette in some Quinellas.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, mate. Playing in some Quinellas, tries, and I'll have an each way on Riadini, but I think Funstar and Colette for mine are probably the two winning chances.
Yeah, I just saw Reloaded was $81 for this race, but he's also dual accepted for the Cantala. But he's an emergency down there, so I like him, but he needs a dry track. So anyway, okay. Let's get cracking on to the juicy stakes, mate. So, last week, another loss. Thermosphere.
Man.
So, Damien Lane came off and said she didn't handle the track. That is BS. She was just past it.
She's just shot, mate. She's shot.
Shot duck. So, not a great result, but $115 in the kitty. We might try and do something with all the lads, I reckon. We might We might chuck our best bets of the day as a place bet all up.
Yeah.
$5 each. We'll chuck at least another 25 in the kitty, I reckon.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. They don't know that, but they do now.
They'll be
okay.
fine.
Juicy stakes, mate. Let's get cracking on our value bets of the day. Let's kick it off in Melbourne.
Mate, I think Forbidden Love in the Empire Rose, $19 to win, $5 to place. I reckon find out punters at that price, have a nice each way and see how it goes.
I think I made a brilliant case for Missile Mantra in the Empire
Oh,
Rose
yeah,
as well.
cool.
So we're going head to head. Another 6-pack on the line.
Mate, we're going to have 2 6-packs on the line
Bang.
for our juicies, but
Okay.
maybe more.
Yeah, so race 5, number 8. So another 6-pack on the line. I think it's 4 to me, 1 to you.
Eek.
So this could be a full cardo right here.
It could.
Okay, your roughie of the day, mate.
Yeah, that was my roughie. Forbidden Love.
Sorry, in
Each
Sydney.
way.
In Sydney.
In
Sydney? Do you have one in Sydney?
Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry, guys. I'm with the program now. Yeah, Riadini in the Golden Eagle.
Yep.
I think it's $20 at the moment, $5.50 to place. So I think I'm taking you on.
Yeah, I'd had to, but I'll go Brandenburg in the Golden Eagle. But my other one was Star of the Seas in the Yes Stakes, because I'm actually pretty keen to take on Gytra there.
Yeah, so am I, mate.
1,300, not suitable. Another afterthought, but the Yes Stakes, I think there's $1 million bonus for anything that ran in the Everest, so I can understand why they're backing up. But and wet track, like really, really wet track form is unknown. Star of the Seas gets through it easy. So, but he is also a bit banged up, so interesting. Anyway, each way in Melbourne, mate.
Mate, I think Farnan in the Coolmore is a great shout. I think he's a winning chance. So $6 for the win, $2.30 for the place.
Beautiful. Mine was race 1, number 7. So let's toast.
Yeah.
At what, $16?
I'll be jumping on.
8-horse field. 2 favourites that I'm keen to take on. Yes, please. Beautiful. And your each way?
Yeah, my each way in Rose Hill, race 4, number 11, Archana. Back to the last start, ran second. Heavy track suits, 1,900 metres, shouldn't be a problem. $6 for the win, $2.20 for the place. Yep. Race 4, number 11.
Nice one. I've gone Colette in the Golden Eagle, so yeah, I think she's the winner of that. And your best?
My best in Flemington, I think Diamond Effort in the last.
Ooh, I like it.
I think it'll be awfully hard to beat. I think my next best will be Personal.
Okay. Yep. Beautiful. And my best is race 2, number 9, Victoria Key, at $6. So she's my best of the day in Melbourne. In Sydney?
Race 5, number 12, Makrura. First up, tick, track, tick, distance, tick, heavy, tick, barrier. All ticks.
Yep.
I think it's about $3.50 at the moment. Yeah, I reckon that's a great shout.
Rothfire form, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yep. And my best was, if he's not related to Jungle Edge, they should be very close cousins, is Woogok in Sydney. Because this guy, if he's not the best wet tracker in Australia, over 2,000, he'd be right up there.
Torpedo.
So yeah, race 6, number 3, Woogok. Mate, I can't wait.
I'm that keen, mate. I'm that keen. I'm nervous. I'm excited. All the above. Christmas, grand final, all wrapped into one. It's Derby Day.
Bang. Nothing more left to do than to back some winners. So, all the best out there, punters. Hope you find a few winners.
Yeah, all the best, guys. Have a good one.